made a point there about um, firing clients, like standing your ground and firing clients, and also having your employees back. If you have an assistant, if you have an underwriter, if you have staff, what I've told my people in the past that I've hired and had in the office is, if you're on the phone with somebody and they're treating you like hot garbage, just calmly put them on hold. Call me, whether we're actually in the same office, walk down the hall, and just say, "Yeah, we got like a code red here." And I've told people, like, I'm not going to talk to you like that. No money is worth anybody treating you like that. Just put them on the phone with me, and we'll just fire them, because there's a respect level, right? That you can't let people treat you like a doormat.
I can remember his first name and his last name, and the law clerk who he went berserk on, and I fired him. I said we will fund this file because it's closing tomorrow, and it was a jumbo file, and it was right there, it was done, and it would have been a train wreck to back out, even though he kind of deserved to not have his refi. And it was a refi, so it wasn't actually that, it wasn't that high priority, like it could have not funded. But we funded it, and I've never worked with him again. He's phoned me. It's funny, just geographically speaking, I remember it was only a few blocks away. It was the last time he phoned me. I don't know why I positioned like that. And I just said to him, I said, I've told you, I can't work with you. I can't bring you into the fold with my people. I can't have you interacting with anybody who's a part of my team. And the way I see it, you don't have to be someone who works for me or with me to be a part of my team. If you're the appraiser, if you're the law clerk at the law firm, you're part of my team.
Right.
And I got your back.
Right.
And I'm not trying to bring pain and suffering into your life.
And that goes back to principles that you were talking about yesterday. You're talking about having principles.
Yeah, and not having them.
And not having them. Yeah.
You got to split the difference sometimes.
If you break up with somebody over the phone, should you follow up by email so that it's documented? I would 100% say yes. Follow up with something written and documented.
Yes, having that paper trail is vital. In particular, depending on what your client agreement looks like, right? I mean, that was a big part of yesterday's client agreement. One of my favorite clauses in there is the termination clause. Like, I actually have the written ability, we've established up front, I can break up with you. And then, yes, if you're going to break up with them, I think the honorable thing, you know, is and the more difficult thing is to pick up the phone. And you know, it's a lot easier to send an email.
Yeah.
But that's weak.
And you're going to be heated. When you send that email, it's going to be heated. It's probably just take a breath, take a break, call, and then follow up.
Write the email, phone, have the conversation, and say, and I'm just going to follow this up with an email to confirm, and then save that email in your file.
Yep.
And now you've got it all covered off.
If you're going to fire a client and they were referred by a referral partner, especially a really trusted one, should you speak to your referral partner about it first?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's where I was kind of going at the very end there, talking about sometimes you just got to take one for the team, and you should absolutely have a conversation with your referral partner, because a lot of the times, what do you discover? Oh, actually, you know, they didn't really want this to get out, but tragedy, tragedy, tragedy here, here, and here in their life right now. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And I remember the one that's coming to mind, like, it was crazy.
Right.
Like next level.
Right.
I'm like, how is this person even getting out of bed and functioning in the morning?
Right.
No wonder they're a powder keg.
Right.
Right? And you know, they defaulted to ranting rather than crying.
Sorry to cut you off. What's the best point in time / process to send out the letter of engagement? I would assume when requesting supporting docs, it's like the first thing you do after the first call you have.
And on that first call, you do not get into rate, mortgage qualification amounts. You don't discuss any of those things. You want that signed letter of engagement in hand before you're starting to really set anything up. I mean, that's, yeah, as we touched on, there's a broker right now that's dealing with a complaint by 2 different regulators from a client where if they'd had that signed letter of engagement up front, it really would have detuned the whole situation. But they just kind of dove in and gave a whole bunch of mortgage advice without any real context. No docs, no app, no credit bureau.
Listen, I've fallen prey to that. You know, at the beginning of your career, halfway through your career, the funnel's drying up. You just got to get some files scraped together.
Rob, I just want to know what are the rates?
Yeah,
right
I'll
now?
tell you. I'll tell you right now. Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you get nuked on that deal.
Well,
on
if you
that
can't
file.
tell me how much mortgage money I qualify for, I'm going to call someone who
No,
can.
no, don't call anybody. I'm the guy. I'm your guy.
Okay, so what do I?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, right?
And it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
One last.
And we've
one.
all been there. We've all been there. Like, why am I getting?
Why am I doing this?
Why am I getting sucked into this?
One last one. Respectfully, I guess there's always a first time, but I don't recall ever firing a customer. You don't have to love your client to do a mortgage transaction. Sometimes people get difficult to work with. This was, yes, but
Yep.
every file is difficult. People are difficult. We're all difficult. I'm difficult. Ask this
Totally.
guy. This guy's difficult. Ask me off the air. There's a difference here between just difficulties in getting that file done because of personalities. But what I'm talking about, and maybe you'll agree, is like language, disrespect, off-color comments, racism. I've had a story about a guy going into a branch, some racist shit. Sorry. I mean, it's
That's
called
okay.
for when we're talking about racism.
We get one each day.
Right.
There's
I
one.
mean, so I'm talking about these types
Yeah. Hey, been there as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I had a client make racist remarks to the house cleaner that I'd sent to clean their house for them, and my house cleaner, who I'd sent to dozens, maybe hundreds of different clients over the years, quit. I lost my house cleaner over that. She was so incensed at what had happened, and it doesn't matter what race anyone was in that equation, but it was shocking. The whole thing was just shocking. It was
Right.
like, wait, what?
What?
How? Like, what's even happening here? It turns out Caucasians don't have the market cornered on racism. It was such a weird dynamic, and I phoned the client and I'm like, what happened? And the client just went into a full tirade about those people, and I said, look, I don't know how long you've actually been in Canada, but there's no those people. Like, we're just all Canadians. Like, everything's cool, and you've cost me a wonderful person, a wonderful relationship. They're no longer willing to work with me. And then they just like doubled down. And
Yeah, but they're those people, Dustin.
yeah, like, what am I not getting? And so that was a client that I was obviously never working with again. I still remember their name, and that's like 10 years ago. I still remember their name very clearly, and that's a client you just can't work with. The ones who are bringing that toxicity, they're damaging
Yep.
your circle,
Yep.
right? There,
Yep.
there are these instances, and man, I'm happy for you that you haven't had that situation yet, but it's a numbers game, right? When we get talking about the lawsuits piece, it's a numbers game. And referral partners, they didn't really talk about, rejecting a referral partner,
Yep.
but you need to pay attention to where, to use Rob's term, the hot garbage referrals are coming from, because a lot of times it turns out they're all coming from the same person.
Birds of a feather is the phrase, right?
And at a certain point, you need to say, I really appreciate that you continue to refer files to me, but out of the last 13, we've only been able to fund one, and I can see that you funded 50 Ns last year. So I don't know who got the referrals for those 150 clients that turned into 50 Ns, but I got 13 to 1 here, and you know what?
I'm out.